All right, welcome back, guys. So today we are going to start really winding this project down. So razor blade body and back piece, right? Nothing in thick rail, nothing in thin rail. So actually, I'll turn those two layers on, and I'll do a SELCRV. Select those curves and just throw them into, you guessed it, my curve layer. All right. So I'm gonna just maybe I'll just rename these dash dash and dash dash dash. Okay. So I'll figure out what to make these two nicely colored layers later. All right. So let's go into part 3. So last video we finished what the blade and the dents or squigglies. Okay, and our model looks pretty good. Okay, and let's move on to part 4, the final part of this tutorial. So looks like what we're going to do is we're going to make this slider shape and extrude it up so that it's a little bit proud of the razor blade body, meaning it's sticking out a little bit, and it's sitting on top of the blade holder. So once we get it, we're going to then fillet the edges, so solid fillet edge, and we're going to get it to look like this. And then we're going to do we can either do a hop copy or a rectangular array. We're going to take these lines and copy them along. We've got this one line here we're going to use to trim off the excess. And then we're going to use a pipe command and kind of get these little grippies on there. And then we're not going to do this. We're not going to do a Boolean union because then it's permanent. I like to actually leave these as separate in case you want to make them different colors. All right. So the slider, maybe the slider, we'll see how long this video takes. So guess what? I'm going to use this layer right here. I'm going to call it slider. Okay. And I'm going to go into a shaded display in my top view, get a little bit of an idea here as to where I want it. So I'm thinking, well, definitely in the slot opening here is where I want it. And let's look at the wireframe. So I'm going to keep an eye on these two edges. I'm going to toggle into the wireframe, edge and blue edge, okay, the straight one. And so my slider is not going to be as wide as the one that's pictured in the tutorial. Mine's going to fit inside here. And I'm going to have it kind of cover a little bit of my blade. I think that's okay. So I'm going to activate the slider layer, and it's kind of a dark color to use. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make two lines. I'm going to do the top and the bottom with ortho on, and then I'll connect them endpoint snap like so. Okay, so I'm going to do a polyline. Let's take off all my snaps, and mine has to fit. This is the inside edge of my blade body slot. So I'll go right here, click, hold down shift, and I'll make mine a little bit bigger, click, and then I'll do the same thing here. I will go into the blade a little bit. Oops, got to be above that blue line. So I'll go right here, click, shift, right to here. Oops, that was not long enough. I'll go out so it tapers outwards. I guess I could have done a constant polyline. I don't know why I didn't think about that. I could have just totally done it. So here, I'll turn my endpoint snap on, like that, and then I'll do this one, like that. So I totally could have just done this. I don't know why I thought that, just shift. And then, oh, I guess I would have to have planned it. I'm just curious. If I started it here, shift, here, shift. Yeah, I could have done it in one. I don't know. I guess my way was allowed me a little more control of where I ended things. All right, so let's turn some stuff off. I don't need the blade, and I don't need the blade holder. So, excuse me. All right, so so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fillet these curves first. All right, so in the tutorial, whoops, wrong one. Yeah, 4. So in the tutorial, you can see that they're getting vague now. All right, so they're calling this an auctioneer. Create the profile and extrude it as a solid. Okay, so I can't really even see what the shape is, but I would think that they filleted these curves. Okay, fillet the curves first. It'll be a lot easier. So I'm going to do fillet curves. My radius, I'm going to try a 1 millimeter. Let's see what that looks like. A little tight. I'll do a radius of 2. That's better. Okay, let's do it again. This one, it's good. Way too much. I mean, actually, I'll undo both of those and I'll do a radius of 1, maybe on the bottom. That looks nice. Cool. All right, I'm satisfied. I'm going to join these up. So if you fillet your curves first, this is the main shape of the slider or the auctioneer. You won't have to fillet these vertical edges, and it comes out cleaner. So here it is. I'm going to put my blade holder on, and I'm going to, oh, did I totally mess up? I did. All right. I used the wrong edge. Let me take a look here. Shaded. Oops. See that? I should have gone much lower. Okay, well, I'm going to leave this. I'm like, should I edit the video? I'm going to show you a quick trick here. So, because this happens. But I'm going to try to do a scale 1D right here. And it says origin point. So I'm going to do a near snap. I'm going to snap onto the near right here. I'm going to do a shift INT, which is near and ortho. And now it shouldn't distort my slider. I could just kind of go like this. Let's see what that looks like when I put my blade on. All right. I think I should remake it. All right, but that would have been a quick fix. Let me just try it again. So I'll do snap off. Sorry about that, guys. And sliders on. Okay, so I will, maybe a ghost display will help me out. Yeah, let's do that. So I'll come right over here, click, shift, and I'll bring mine to like here, and then here, click, shift, get it right over the blade, and then back to point. Okay, so now I have this back to where I was. All right, so it didn't take me too long to redo. So I'm going to move it and make sure no snaps are on. I'm just going to move it, hold down shift, and drag it so it's just floating above my blade holder here. Okay, now I'm going to do a solid. Oh, I'm supposed to fillet it. All right, well, you can see this is the end of the day and my brain is a little frazzled. So let me explode this and do my fillet curves. See if I can get this. So the radius of 1, that one, and that one. Good. This one and that one. And I think I changed the radius to 2 up here. That, and that, and that. Okay. Let's turn the blade holder off. And the blade, I'm going to go into a wireframe so I could cleanly join this up. 1, 2, walk the path, guys. I've seen a lot of you guys not walking the path. Or as Johnny Cash would say, walk the line. Okay. So let's put the blade holder back on. Sorry, so there it is. I'll do a shaded display so I can see my object. So let's extrude the solid. Solid, extrude planar curve, straight. Both sides, no. This is both sides, yes. So I'll say both sides, no. And then I'm just going to extrude it so it's a little bit above. All right, I want to be able to get my thumb on there to slide the blade forward. So I'll go, I think, like right there. That's good. All right. So now if I go into a shaded display in this view, I'm going to fillet this top edge. I actually think it's a great spot to select your edges to fillet right here. I think it's a lot easier than clicking on all the edges in the perspective. So let's do a solid fillet edge. Okay, before I was using fillet curve because I was filleting the curves. Now we have a solid. I'll do a solid fillet edge. And it says radius is 1. I'm going to click and drag a selection tool. And that allows me, in the right side view, I clicked and dragged in the right side view. That allows me to select all of these top edges. And you can see here that what my fillet handle is going to be. Let's see if it works. There's a chance I may get a tail where these radiuses were 1 already, and it may not be able to process it. So enter, enter. It did. Okay. So you're going to want to do a fillet radius slightly less. So what if I were to do a 0.75? Okay. And so I'll select these top edges again. Enter, enter. Success. Okay, so got a nice fillet over here, pretty cool. And now I can actually turn off all the other layers. I mean, here, this is what it looks like. It's just kind of floating in here. So theoretically, there would be a piece coming down here, which would then have another piece that flares out that rides inside the blade holder, which then would push the blade. Okay. So I guess I could have made this bigger. It's not supposed to hit the blade. So let's turn this off and this off. All right, cool. I guess I'll do the back piece off too. All right, so I'm going to make a new layer. I think I have to change this color. I'll do... I'll do orange. The orange will be good. Okay, so now it's time to make the lines, the grips. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a polyline, and I'm going to, no snaps are on. I'm going to try to make a line parallel with this line. Okay, so I want to stay away from the corners because these lines are eventually going to be piped, and the pipe is going to extend past it. So I'm going to stay away from the corner here, and then I'm going to just show you here. Try to get it to be parallel with this. All right, so let's see, I guess like right there. So it disappeared, but if I go into wireframe, it's right over here. Okay, so now what they said they wanted us to do is copy them. I'll show you 2 ways to do it. You could do like this, take a line, endpoint snap, hold down Shift, set your spacing, and then just hop copy both of them. So from end to end, you just go like that. Okay, so that'll work. Then you would delete these spacer lines. That would work. They wanted you to do a rectangular array. So I'm gonna leave this construction line here and try the rectangular array right here. So select objects to array is this curve. Enter. Number in x direction. So the number in the x direction. So now you have to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, I guess, maybe. It's okay if I have too many. So I'll say 13. Number in the y direction is just going to be 1, so going up and down. Number in the z direction is still just going to be 1. And now it says x spacing or first reference point. So this will be, I guess, here. And then second reference point, watch this, this is pretty cool. It goes, you just drag it along until you hit your spacing that you like. Boom. And I think they say, like, you know, you can, oh wow, I didn't have enough. I needed to go all the way through here. Interesting. So look, I could change it. 13, I think I need like 15. And it gave it to me. Maybe I'll do 16. Cool. All right, yeah, I'll take that. That was good. Okay, so now I'm going to trim these off. So I'm going to make another polyline. And again, I want to just make a parallel line. Let's see how much I have about that size gap there. So I think I'm pretty close. And I'll go like this. All right, so let me trim. Cutting objects is this. Objects to trim are these lines right here. I'll take this construction line, delete it. I'll take this construction line, delete it. One of the few times you would. And now what we want to do is get these curves to be on top of the surface of this solid. So if I were to go like this, I should rename this now and call it grips. Grippies. Okay. So if I go to select objects, I have these curves here. Okay, 19 curves added to selection. If I look at where they are, they're on the XY construction plane here. Okay, they're on the ground. They need to be up above here. So you could move it, but I find that sometimes snapping makes it a little tough to move. I actually like to just drag it over. So hold ortho, drag it up so it's floating above. And then do a, if you go into a shaded display here, while they're all selected, use this tool, project curves to surface. So I'm going to click on it. It says select surfaces or solids to project onto. And I'm going to just do this one right here in the top view. Hit enter, and then look what it did. It put a pair right on top and right on bottom. So I'm going to take the pair that's on the bottom. No, the orange is not a good layer color. I guess I'll do dark green maybe. Okay. And then, because I couldn't tell what was selected, what wasn't. So I'm going to delete them. Whoops. Nope. Let me select these again. And then delete. And I'm going to take the ones that are floating and delete those too. So now all I have left are these lines here that are on the surface. So now new tool. So that was project curves to surface right here. We're going to use a new solid tool. We're going to use pipe with rounded caps. Don't do this one and fillet them. Do pipe with rounded caps. So it says select curve to create pipe around. I'm going to start off with this one. It says what's the start radius? So if I move my mouse around here, you can see that I could kind of set a radius to really whatever I want. And it's changing down here. So like right about here, that's a 0.446 millimeter radius. I'm just going to type in 0.5 and see what it looks like. Enter. Yeah, that looks good. And then now it says, what do you want for the end radius? That's way over there. I'm going to hit enter again for 0.5. And then it says next point for next radius. There is none. I'm just going to hit enter because I'm done. And then there's my rounded my pipe. So I'm going to repeat that command, and you can go kind of fast now. Enter, enter, enter. Right click, click, enter, 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 I mean, I guess I could do rectangular array, but then I'd have these would be too long. So right click, enter, 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 right click, enter. Okay. Last one. Cool. Those look good. Okay. What you could do, well, no, you could just leave them that way. That's good. Well, maybe I'll do this. I'll select just my grippies, and I'll group them. So now when I click on one, they're all selected. Okay, and if I move it by mistake, I can fix it. You know, I can't just like move one. So razor blade body, blade holder back piece, slider, and blade. Cool. Okay. Now let's see where we are. I did that, did that, did that. Okay, the extra pieces. So it's kind of cool, but you don't have to do it. They are saying that there's a hole in the razor blade here, and this piece rides underneath it. The blade snaps in, and then there's this little part that lifts the slider up so the blade can go in it. It does actually make mechanical sense. They show it to you a little bit here, which is kind of cool. And then here's the, they make a cylinder, they make a hole in it. So you could do those. I'm gonna skip that stuff. I'll tell you why is you just don't see it. You don't see any of these pieces. In a different CAD program, maybe an Onshape, I would say, you know, or Inventor, definitely put them in because we could do like animated exploded views where like this piece like slides out and the blade comes out. You'd want to see all the working parts, but at least for this project, I just don't think it's necessary. So I'm going to make the carabiner hole here. So we're going to create a closed curve with a triangle with rounded corners. Okay, we're going to extrude it, do a solid difference, and then we're going to fillet the edges with 0.4 or less. Okay, so I'm going to go into my top view here, and I'm going to stay in the grippies layer, I guess. I'll take a polyline, and what I want to do is no snaps on. Make sure that you do not touch this ISO curve. So I'll project across here. I'll go to like to here, here, and then here. I'll take this curve, I will explode it, and then I'll do a fillet curve. Way too big of a fillet, that was 2. Let's try a 0.5. I could do a 1. That's good, yep. Okay, join this up. Walk the path. When you get the selection menu, make sure you click on the one that's closest. Cool. 6 curves joins to 1 closed curve. So that curve is right there. solid, extrude planar curve straight. And then let's do a good old solid difference. Subtract from the body. Subtract with the triangle piece. That looks good. And then we'll do a solid fillet edge on both sides. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That looks good. To the bottom side. None. So you have to zoom in, make sure you don't miss it. Cool. All right. That's great. Let's see if there's anything else. Oh, this piece. All right. I could do this in the last video. That's it. I mean, that's really it. So maybe I will just do this one piece. Okay, so I'm just gonna make a line. Let's see, my slider is right there. Okay, and I'm gonna do a 3-point arc in here, I think. So that's gonna be here. This is a 2-point arc, 3-point arc. Turn my endpoint snap on. And then just bend it in. Okay, and then we'll do this end to end. And I'll join them up. I'll extrude this up. Sorry, I'm like, and I will bring this up. So this piece is going to be thin, and it's going to just go inside the blade holder, I think. There it is. All right. All right, guys, I'm done. Sorry, I was getting a little sidetracked towards the end. I just realized there's one last thing we have to do. These grips here, okay? Not hard. I'm going to do 2 of them. So I'm going to do a line like this, control, control, control. Well, when I'm saying control point curve, that's all I meant. And here I'll do it the same one. Don't do too many clicks. Same thing, take these 2 curves, move them with no snaps on, so that with ortho though, so they're straight up. Go into a shaded display. Take your back piece. Whoops. I'm going to do project curves to surface right here. So it looks like a UFO landing. That's what we use for these. So I'm going to take these 2 curves. I'm going to project them in the top view onto, they're floating right over here. I'm going to project them onto the back piece. And then there they are. Okay. And I can actually maybe try to find these on the bottom here. If I didn't want to pipe them, I could just delete them. And I'll take the ones that are floating in the air, delete those, and then now we should be able to pipe. Whoops, sorry. It's been a long day. Right, so this, let's see what 0.5 looks like. Enter, enter, enter. A little thin, right? Let's do 0.75. That's a little better. Or should I do 1? Radius of 1. Enter, enter, enter. So that's okay. There we go. That looks pretty good. All right, so full size. I think this is ready for rendering. Yeah, cool. All right, let me save it. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. See you in class.